What's up guys? My name is Kira. I am a volleyball player professionally in Europe. That means people pay me to play volleyball. Okay, not heaps of money, but that's really not the point of this video. I am making these videos for anyone who might be curious about what it's like to play pro in Europe. Having said that, I'm gonna try and keep this video short and sweet because, as it turns out, even my own mother didn't watch the full video last time. So, today's hot topic for discussion is, what is the difference between playing pro in Europe and playing volleyball in university? It's such a good question and there are so many parts to explore. I'm just gonna dive right in and give you my opinion, experience, knowledge of the two. So just a quick background, I went to the University of Miami on a full scholarship. I was there for 5 years. Then I moved over to Australia. I played there for a little bit and I was recruited for the GB national team. Ended up going to the Olympics and playing pro for the next 10 years of my life. I'm just gonna start with my top 6 differences and go from there. Number 1. Volleyball is not always volleyball. So maybe in college you learn certain, what I like to call volleyball truths, like the libero takes every free ball, or the middle doesn't serve, or a 6-2 is just obviously the best way to run an offense. Well, whatever you think you know, once you get to pro, you're wrong. You'll probably even come to find out that this whole time you've been pronouncing libero wrong. Libero. Yeah, okay, maybe that's not that important. But what is important is that every single coach has a different philosophy on how to play the game. He or she is gonna run the team based on the players that he has, as well as expectations from the club. And that means everything from on-court defense, to curfew, to rules on nutrition, to phones at the table, to whether or not you have to wear your sponsor kit just to drive to and from training. So my advice here, and I guess this goes for both college and pro, is just be open-minded, be flexible, and most importantly, sit down, be humble. Number 2 is home sweet home. Being far from home is one of the biggest changes for most players coming out of college and playing pro. You might think, oh, but I'm from New York and I played in Florida and it was like 3 hours for my parents to come and visit me every home game. Yeah, but trust me when I say, if you're in the same time zone as your loved ones, you are not far from home. And your parents have to take time off work, get a dog sitter, take out a small bank loan, just to be able to come out and visit you once, you'll know what I mean. Living far from home in college means eating in the dining hall instead of eating your mom's lasagna. Or it means your coach forcing you to finish 20 hours of study hall instead of your dad making you turn the TV off. It means if you're caught out past curfew, you won't be grounded, but you literally won't play the next match.
You're grounded.
Whereas when you play overseas, you'll be lucky if you get time off at Christmas to go home. So you get used to making your own pancakes in the morning and buying yourself your own birthday presents because you're an adult now. 3, it's like culture, bruh. Cultural differences. Where to begin? So living overseas is obviously, it's the perfect opportunity to travel and to see new places and to explore, but you just never realize how much you took Chipotle for granted before. I have a couple of tips on this. In Germany, don't cross the road until the little green man tells you to do so. In France, never say you prefer Italian food to French food. And in Turkey, just always say yes to a piping hot cup of tea, even when it's like 1,000,000 degrees outside. Just trust me with these things. Number 4, professionalism. Oh, the irony. So it may come as a shock, probably not to anyone who's ever played pro. Not all professional clubs are really that professional. What do you mean I have to buy my own sandwich at the airport? You want me to go and open a bank account in a foreign country, in a foreign language, just by myself? How is it possible that one of my teammates has literally never done a hang clean before? Yeah, playing pro in Europe, it's literally a crapshoot.
What the is actually going on?
In college, and you know this is true, they literally hold your hand for everything. Everything is just taken care of for you. So you'll come out of college and you'll be super prepared athletically, physically, mentally to play pro and be the best volleyball player you can be. But as far as real world skills, like, I don't know, paying a bill, like taking your car to get checked up, they're gonna need some brushing up. Number 5, homework. This is a big one. I can remember distinctly pulling an all-nighter in the library studying for some physics exam that I literally don't remember the score of because I changed my major the next year because pre-vet Turns out it's real hard. College is just like one huge balancing act between lifting at 6 a.m. and going to class all day and then coming back and having another training in the afternoon and then going to study all hours and then flying to and from your games and then also just trying to show your face at the frat parties so you have friends.
God, we were lame back then. Do you remember how into dinosaurs we were?
But in pro, it's literally just volleyball. You've usually got something like 5 hours between trainings, and yeah, most people just use that for Netflix and chill, però si può anche imparare una lingua nuova.
Essere nelle nuvole.
Oh, it sounds like a lotion cream.
It means head in the clouds.
You can draw yourself some pretty pictures. Oh yeah, you can just nap. No judgment here. Number 6.
Show me the money!
It's the dream, right? Getting paid to do what you love. I get it. It's a huge pull for players to skip college and go straight to pro for the money. I guess this applies more to foreign players that are thinking about going to the States for school, because for Americans, it's just a given that you'll go to college after high school. I get it. Money is money. But in my opinion, going to university and playing sports in university, you get way more value out of that than just a paycheck if you're going straight into pro. If you're on an athletic scholarship, you're put up in the dorms with your friends. You can eat in the dining hall every day. Your books are probably paid for. And on top of that, most D1 schools will even give you a stipend to live on. We all remember check day, am I right? And at the end of it all, you have a degree. You have something to fall back on once volleyball is over. When you realize, oh my God, I'm like 30 something and playing volleyball, it's just not that lucrative anymore. And my body's falling apart. So that is the condensed version of my opinion on playing pro versus playing in college. Obviously, both of them are awesome. I think one leads directly into the other. I think if you're a young player in Europe thinking about going to the university to play, I think it's an awesome stepping stone to pro. And if you're a college player right now that's thinking about going pro or quitting volleyball and getting a real job, give it a try, give it a whirl. What's the worst gonna happen? 1 year. So after having said all of that, I'm sure this video is super long already, but I thought I would ask a couple of my teammates who have also played both college and pro, do a little Q&A with them and just see what they thought. So I sat down with Lindsey, Moni, and Silvi, and here's what they had to say. What do you think is the biggest difference between playing pro and playing in university?
In college, I think it's more about the school because you get a free education and you're kind of forced to do that. And playing pro, it's like your free time, you do what you want. And also the length of the season. This is really important.
For me, one of the biggest differences is the distance from home, because in the US, you know, it's around 2,000 miles from Russia, and from here it's not that far, it's just one flight, you know.
I feel at college, like, you're very guided, whereas pro, it's just like, okay, like, this is what they're doing, this is what we have to do, find a way to figure it out, type of thing. You're also older, so.
What is the best part about playing pro?
That you can travel a lot. And that you meet, of course, it's both in playing pro and playing college, is that you meet a lot of new people. And I think this is, for me, the best part about it.
I think the best part about playing pro is that you are independent, like you're depending only on yourself, you're making money, you're playing, you know that if it's gonna be hard, it's still you who have to solve all of that.
I love the competition in pro because there's so many people that come from different parts of the world who have played for so long, and the competition is so high that it's really fun.
What's the worst part about playing pro?
The worst part is that you're being far away from your family and your friends. Also the language barrier, because in my country there is no professional level. So everywhere I go I have to learn new language.
I think it's more of like your job. And in pro life, if you don't kind of do the result, what they're expecting for you to do, it depends on the club, but you can be punished, you can have some troubles with that. And in college it's more of like just studying and playing, and if it didn't work out, okay, next time, you know, it's like kind of easier than that.
You're older and your body hurts. And there's days that you wake up and you're like, how am I still doing this?
What's the best part about playing in university?
Best part is parties, probably. Because when you're a pro, you have to take it much more serious. Because when you're in college, you can be like, oh,
well, for me, it was totally new world. Since I'm from Russia and I flew all the way to the US, it was like totally life-changing experience, and I love everything about it. I always say it's my best 4 years of my life because it's like, it's been totally different. And I think this is the benefit. Like, this is good because people are more nice, you know, everything is just so organized. And I don't know, I can't just find for you one point which was the best about playing in college. For me, it's all experience itself.
The camaraderie. I love college athletics because first, like, all athletes coming together to represent a school, I think it's a special opportunity to have. There's a lot of responsibility and time management and discipline that goes into it. And you're a kid, you know, like you want to do a lot of other stuff. So I think there's a lot to be said about being a student athlete. It's just such like a special time, you know, and like you become a better person because of it.
And what's the worst part about playing in university?
Worst part is that you have to manage, how I mentioned, school and volleyball. So you have to kind of walk with 2 backpacks to the school because you have one is your gear for practicing and another is books. So it's kind of hard when you have 2 practices a day and on your free time you study. So it kind of gets exhausting, especially in the season when you miss a lot of classes.
First, it was misunderstanding with people because it's different kind of mentality, you know, of people from Europe or from Russia even, and people from US. And it was really hard to catch the American vibe, to understand what people mean, what people want from you, because it's like, you know, when people say, hi, how are you? No one cares. And in Russia, if someone actually asks you, they actually like want to know. That's why not a lot of people ask you this. It's kind of this example, you know.
I think just the load. It's a lot with school, and like fall season I remember like it's a lot, especially for volleyball players because it's fall. So it's like right when you like jump into school, right? And you're like, okay, be a good volleyball player. Oh my God, like I have midterms and finals and papers. It's just the scheduling of everything. It was so condensed. You have to go to class. You have to be like 15, 20 minutes early. And if you're not, you're like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna die for a coach on one.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, if you talk to another athlete or like college volleyball player who played in the States, like coach on one, Final Four, like on the line, there's like phrases like back to zero that like still make my heart like skip a beat, you know?
So there you go, guys. Pros and cons of both sides. I hope that was valuable for any young players who are thinking about going pro or going to play in the States. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I personally wouldn't change my experience at University of Miami for anything in the world. It set me on the path to moving to Australia, to moving to Europe, to going to the Olympics, to literally where I am today. And this morning, sitting on my balcony in the south of France, soaking up the sun, drinking a coffee, writing my ideas down for this video, and I literally wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world. Sorry if this video was long. I guess I had a lot to say on the subject. It's real hard to condense 20 years of experience into 5 minutes. As always, like, subscribe, comment, bell. Bye! Oh, I feel like I have a frog in my throat. Like, subscribe, subscribe.
Okay. Wait.
It's okay. It's all no, you can start again. Okay.
But then I'm speaking. Okay.
Good. You're really good at this. You say no, but you're actually really like, well spoken. I'm like.
Wow.
Can't breathe.
I hope people understand my accent.
Action.
Action.
I'm on a booster
What do you
seat.
think? More?
I feel like I'm doing so bad. Okay, because I feel like I'm constantly like, oh, I don't know. Go play volleyball.